Have you ever gone to the doctor and for whatever reason they needed to do a blood draw? Maybe you felt sick and they wanted to test your blood for certain pathogens and its white blood cell count. Maybe you feel tired all the time and they wanted to test your blood for its iron content. Maybe you're pregnant and they want to do a diagnostic analysis. Maybe you're just doing a regular health screening and a blood test is a basic part of the process. In any case, you go in, you meet with the technicians and nurses and doctors, and eventually someone will stick a needle in your arm trying to hit a vein. But they miss. They try again, sliding that long needle into the soft underside of your forearm. But they still miss. Perhaps they go too deep, and they punch right through the vein that they're trying to tap into. If you're really unlucky, they might miss multiple times, and your arm will bruise up as the tissue is perforated by needle poke after needle poke. It's gonna itch and maybe feel painful, and while you get frustrated and maybe freaked out by the repetitive needling, the nurses and technicians are getting a little annoyed with themselves and embarrassed. Now, I've had this entire situation has happened to me a number of times, and while I try to maintain a positive attitude, to keep the nurse or technician from feeling too self-conscious, at the end of the day, it's really no fun for anyone. So, what if there was a robotic device that could find a vein on its first try, guaranteeing a comfortable blood draw every time? That would be pretty nice, right? Well, the future is now, my friend, as a team of biomedical scientists and engineers from Rutgers University developed a blood sampling robot that performs as well or better than its human counterparts. It's not perfect, but the success rate, defined in the clinical trial as successfully finding, injecting, and drawing blood from a vein without missing or punching through, is really high. With human physicians, who are sloppy biological organisms with a heartbeat that makes their hands shake, and eyeballs that have a very limited sensitivity to the light spectrum, they can successfully find a vein only 73% of the time, and this is in patients with visible veins. In patients with veins that are not visible, the success rate drops massively, and it usually takes multiple tries to find a vein for these people. The new robot uses an ultrasound imaging device to visually identify veins, and in the study, the overall success rate was 87%, and for patients with easily visible, accessible veins, it was 97%, which is a massive improvement. This is good for a lot of reasons, and not just because it means less discomfort and pain for you when you stop by the hospital for a blood draw, but in more serious cases, repeated failures to set up an IV line, like for a drug solution or a blood transfusion or something, can increase the risk of infection and blood clots and inflammation of vascular tissue. Erroneous venipuncture is actually one of the leading causes of patient injury, and it can cost time and money. This robot might be the solution to all of this, and the researchers suggest that the technology can be applied to more complex procedures, like dialysis, catheterization, and placing arterial lines. Joseph Leifheimer is a biomedical engineering doctoral student in the School of Engineering at Rutgers University, New Brunswick, and he was the lead author of the study. He described the robot, saying, quote, "A device like ours could help clinicians get blood samples quickly, safely, and reliably, preventing unnecessary complications and pain in patients from multiple needle insertion attempts." Unquote. This technology has a lot of potential because it's really not too complicated, and it's so simple that I could honestly see it becoming a staple of the modern hospital visit this decade.